Emikt. Yeah, emikt is when you're scraping the hides. And then the word for hides itself is apach.
Any kind of hide?
Well, we can probably say yamashmi apach. And that would be a deer hide. And I think there's a word for a scraper. If I can find it in here, I'm pretty sure it was. Let's see, kumkaos maybe. I'm not seeing it in here, but not unless it's in the, because I think when they would scrape the hides, our early elders, when they would use a scraper, they would use a kumkaos. I'm not sure if it would be with a K or I'll see if I can find it in a dictionary here. Kumkaos is a scraper though.
Just write it out like that for the moment.
Yeah. Kumkaos, because I think it had to do with because of a shoulder blade. You know, an animal shoulder blade, how it has a wide plate on it that would sometimes maybe because it came from the kumkas. Well, actually, that's kumkawas or kumkas. Yeah, kumkawas or kumkas is how it's written in a dictionary. So that's the shoulder blade or just a shoulder blade scraper.
You cool with writing them like they're in the dictionary? The popping Q and the board eye?
Yeah, I think it. So however that it is described in our dictionary, kumkawas, and then to soak the hides in the, in the water, whether if it's in the creek or in the water. I think it's a tamalut. I'm trying to figure a time to be able to go over there to Cove, Bobby, so I can go hang out with you guys either tomorrow and Saturday.
You're gonna make it over?
Yeah, I'm working on trying to come over just to hang out with you guys.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I seen you called her. I tried to call you back, but then I just hopped on class.
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool. Well, thanks for sharing these words.
E.
Tum always refers to some kind of immerse, like to immerse, right?
Yeah. We had a immersion school with our little ones, like immersing them in the language, and tamalut, like it, this has that same sense. Yeah, tamalun is when you put it in water. So tamalut is, you know, when you're soaking the hides in the water. And then, so scraping hides, imikt, and the hide for itself is apach, yamashmi apach, kamkas, tamalut. Then the word for, I think the word for that we used to use for smoking, elam, elam. Yeah, elam, elam, lam. In the dictionary, Jonathan, it has it spelled with the X before the S.
Elam.
Elam, elam, something like that. I've always just, I don't know if what's easier, whether to say elam, elam, or elam, you know, with the X before the SH or the SH before the X, you know.
It sounded like you were saying that before.
Yeah. Elam, elam, elam. Yeah, in here though they have it spelled with an X, then a hatchik S and a K. Elam, elam.
Well, how would you say he is smoking hides? Elamsha?
Elam, elam. So I think there would be like that. Yeah, elam.
So you got another sha after the ka. Elam.
Elam, elam. Elam. Yeah.
Nice.
I don't know, Bob, if you guys are putting, you guys are going to stretch them on frames to soften them to do it that way, or if you guys will just, you know, pulling it around, stretching it over something, or pulling it apart. Because when we used to pull, we used to get a bunch of us on one hide, and we would all be pulling same time, just pulling, you know, opposite of each other, just pulling that hide. And
yeah, that's what we're gonna do.
Okay.
Well, we got frames for people that want to put it on a frame to soften it, but mostly just breaking it over a beam and then by hand.
So the word for that in here, it's pronounced shaptuch.
Mish?
Shaptuch.
Tuch or tuk?
Well, one says stretch hide, shaptuch, and then the other word was with the ch, with the chup, chup. Like, well, so one says with a ch, tuch, chup, tuch, then one is shaptuch. So I'm just trying to see which one would be. So either way, chaptuchi or shaptuchi, chaptuchi or shaptuchi would still imply that that the hide is stretched, stretch hides, not scrape hides, so stretch hides.
Oh, yeah, my bad. Stretch hides.
Shaptuchi.
Or chaptuchi.
Yeah, shaptuchi. Or chaptuchi would be imply, like a stretched hide. And then to say to make it as a command, then you would say shaptuchenk or chaptuchenk. Chaptuchenk or chaptuchenk. Yeah, I kush. Bobby, what kind of wood are you guys using for when you smoke it?
Kappa.
Cottonwood.
Hey, cottonwood.
Yeah, cup.
What was
So that just cottonwood.
Cottonwood.
Yeah, cup is the place, La Grande.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but cup itself is the cottonwood.
They were close to LeGrand too.
Yeah. I know when my friend Robert Kitch, when he came over and shared with his expertise, he used one of those. Remember back in the day in the orchards when they used to keep their orchards, like the cherries or apples trees, from freezing. They would have those oil stoves, and they would keep them burning to keep the place kind of from freezing over. And he got one of those kind of little stoves, the oil stoves, and I think he somehow burned it out to where it didn't have any of that oil residue on it anymore, scraped it or whatever. But that became his smoker, Ilam Shpama. And then when he would use that, he would use rotten red fir. And I'm not sure if it has a specific name for it. Paishiwa patatwai. Look'em patatwai ilquas. Yeah, look'em patatwai ilquas. So this was a rotten red fir tree, and he would use that, and it really would give the hide a real nice aroma. So Bobby, are you pretty much aware also that what smoking does to the hides?
Yeah, it sort of coats the glues and the fibers to keep those, to prevent them from turning back to glue once they get wet. The different.
Yeah, kind of like a waterproofing too, huh?
Yeah, because if you don't smoke it, it'll, when it gets wet, those the natural glues in the hide, they'll turn back to glue and make that hide turn rawhide again, turn hard.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah. What are other facets that we may be missing out on here?
Yes. I think you got about everything there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we're doing the wet scrape. We're doing deer hides with wet scrape. And so you got scraping and soaking and yeah,
Then,
hard work.
yeah, and then also what you guys use, I don't know if you guys using brains or what you're using to soften it. So originally, you know, a deer, I remember hearing this statement, a deer has enough brains to tan its own hide.
Yeah.
So, Yamashmipluski.
It wasn't necessary.
Yamashmi Plushki.
Yeah, Yamashmipluski.
Pluski.
So this implies with the deer brains. I'm just trying to think of the that word. I guess how we would say for to soften, to soften the hides. I'm not sure if there's. I'm sure there's probably a word. So the word that is in here, okay, one is just emake for to scrape, but also soften hide to tan it would be shapat ishkuk, shapat ishkuk, shapat ishkuk, glottal ishkuk. Yeah, shapat ishkuk. So that implies to soften a hide. Shapat ishkuk. So so to like imply what a brain would be for, you would just probably say the term shapat ishkuk dai. Shapat ishkuk dai. Has anybody else on here done any hide tanning?
We did. We made a drum. We made a drum when I worked for the Seattle Indian Health Board for our psychiatrist. All of us worked together and we put the hide into the brains and soaked it in a tub and really just washed it for days to make sure it had a certain texture. And the guy that kind of was heading us up was a guy from Alaska. He was an Alaska native that was helping us tan the hide. So we used the brains, like you said, to really get it really, really soft so we could really stretch it so it was tight around the rim.
Wow, I mean a soft buckskin for a drum.
Right, yes.
Huh.
Yeah, it came really nice.
Normally, just rawhide is what is used for drum, without, softening it.
Yeah.
But that's interesting to know. I think I may have seen one like that too.
Those water drums they use at the NAC meetings.
Oh yeah. What was I just had a thought. I'm just trying to remember. But
can I add too that I have my last pair of moccasins that my mom got me were made by Viola Morris from Lapway, and mom said they were chewed. So I think sometimes hides are even chewed to soften them, aren't they? Am I joking? I'm not joking.
I wouldn't chew on it.
Hey,
I've
come on.
heard that, but I've never seen it in practice.
Well, you guys are younger than me, so I mean, including our teacher. I was born in the 40s, not the 50s. So, yeah, I don't.
You know, I was sharing with my students in my language class earlier. You know, like a shumch is a buckskin shirt or a buckskin dress. You know, and that's what you know. I don't know. I think they sometimes would take at least two or three hides, you know, to make, you know, a woman's dress.
Yeah.
But you know, my grandmother, she made my very first my first deer kill shumch. My, you know, and I shot my first deer, and then she took care of it and she kept it, and then, you know, she presented it to me, and I think I wore it at my graduation. I think, pretty sure I did. But the only thing about when she gave it to me, especially at Warm Springs, my aunt gave it to me when they had the powwow at the Longhouse, Payumsha days. It is kind of just a moment of presentation. They gave it to me right there at the powwow, and I put it on, and it was nice, but it really smelled. But it still had the old rotten smell to it, you know, and it wasn't smoked or nothing. I really couldn't wear it because of that the stench that was still with it.
Mm.
Yeah. Also, just, you know, just for the of what rawhide is, and here there's a word that says rawhide, all right, soaked and stripped of hair of rawhide. So when we would say that, then here it's written shapaya kochi, shapaya kochki, shapaya kochki. Perfect, shapaya kochki. And this is in the dictionary where it says soaked and stripped of hair, of rawhide, shapaya kochki. So let's go ahead and go back to the top of the list here, and we'll look at a lot of these words. Okay. So again, if everybody wants to go ahead and mute, we can see if we can say these words together.
Oh.
So for scraping hides, just to scrape in general, e-meeked.
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 Yeah, e-meeked.
E-meeked.
Then the word for hide itself, apach.
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 Apach. Apach.
For a deer hide, it's the deer hide, you would say, Yamashmi apach.
Yamashmi apach.
Yamashmi apach.
Yamashmi apach.
And then a scraper would be kumkawas.
Kumkawas. Kumkawas.
Kumkawas.
Kumkawas.
And I think it was probably called that because of having used maybe the actual shoulder blade of the animal, you know, how they're kind of a wide piece there. So that shoulder blade itself is just called a kumkas. Kumkas. And then when you soak the hides in the water, whether if in the creek or just water in general, tamalut. Tamalut. I know you got it written down there as tamalut, but
yeah, it sounds like you're saying that I did this because that's what I saw in the dictionary, but you're definitely saying tamalut, right?
Yeah, tamalut. Yeah, just because I think either way, but I think it would still mean the same thing. Tamalut or tamalut. Yeah, tamalut. That sound at the end still extends anyway. For smoking hides, ilam.
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 Yeah, it's quite a way. You have to you got to kind of just jumble that X, the hush. So like I say, a lot of times sometimes our language is a real spitty language. Slak what na imin amba malashpa slak. Okay, and then so when he or she is smoking hides, ilam sha.
Ilam.
Ilam sha.
Ilam.
Okay. Then stretch hides. So these either with the hat check S or hat check C, shaptuch. Shaptuch. Or chaptuch. When you see that little part, Mish, go ahead. Somebody had a question? So when it's actually a stretched hide, chaptuchi. Shaptuchi or chaptuchi. And then one of the woods that's used that they're using over there, cup for the cottonwood. Then the place that is known as LeGrand, cuppa. And then so for something that's used as a smoker, ilam pama. And then lukam patatwe ilkwas.
Lukam patatwe ilkas.
Lukam patatwe ilkwas.
Lukam patatwe ilkwas.
Jonathan, is that lukum?
So it sounded the second time like you said it with two oohs. And then the dictionary, I think, also had lukum.
Lukum. Well,
at first, though, I thought you said lukam.
Yeah, it's lukum. I'm thinking. I'm pretty sure this would be just lukum with either a or a barred I. Lukum. Yeah, this implies rotten. Lukum.
What's patatwai?
That's the red fir tree.
Okay.
I think it could imply white fir too, but I'm just, I just know that a lot of times we'd get patatway for sweat house to put in a sweat house to, for our underneath, so we could sit on it. Really has a beautiful aroma, when you get in there and sweat with that. Have you ever sweat, Jonathan?
Not that kind of sweat.
Yeah.
No.
Bobby, you got sweat house up there?
Not yet. Been meaning to build one.
Yeah. I know I need one, but I'm afraid to sweat because I might wash all my luck away. Anyway, um, Yamashmi plus key.
Yamashmi Pluski.
Yamashmi plus key.
Yamashmi Pluski.
Yeah, the key implies with. Then that's the with brains. What plus key? Are you with brains? No. One of the hide tanners jokes goes, he used to kind of even ask that because my uncle, he's the one that used to be witty with it. Goes, says, what it takes to he'd say, what it takes to tan a hide, right? Just kind of I don't know, brain. So to say the word with to soften a hide, Shapa-ishkuk. 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 Yeah, Shapa-ishkuk. So the word Shapa-ishkuk dai, that would imply Shapa-ikuk, so it probably like maybe it'd say plus iwa Shapa-ikuk dai. Plus iwa Shapa-ikuk dai, to make it in other words, it's the brains is what is for softening the hide. The brains is what's needed to soften the hide. Plus iwa Shapa-ikuk dai.
Shiwa Shapa-ishkuk dai.
And so that is, something used for softening. Okay, so plus iwa. So sometimes, I think, Bobby, you've mentioned that if you don't have brains, not to say that you don't have brains, but you use other things, right? What other?
Eggs are similar, kind of a fat, really small fat particles that can, they're water soluble. So that's it. Most oil rises to the top of water, but grains and eggs will emulsify in water, and then the fats are small enough to penetrate into the hide. So we don't have brains, we substitute a dozen eggs and some olive oil and some cast iron soap.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what we're going to use now because I only had like 3 brains. We got 6 hides getting worked.
Them chickens need to get to work. Yeah.
Need goose egg. Tell them goose eggs. They pop them out faster and bigger. Oh. Hey, Joy, you gonna get the phone?
Yeah, this is a good thing that you're doing there, Bobby, and nam isikosha imikt. You're teaching how to how to scrape hides. I think there was kind of a worry and concern there for a while. Like within even my mind. Mani pawata tananma. How are the people going to be? And the kochaupa ashukosha imikt damashmia pachna. For those that don't know how to take care or how to, scrape hides and things. And ako tamin wa namin tanan ma tilaki mapa imi kanchana yamashmi apach. Our elder ladies, they were always, scraping and taking care of the hides. And akus chow chiao cook and aku kwaim slama. Not like how the hunters today, they just throw the hides away. And they go chow paashuk washa, and my knee and the kush shas apach yamashmi waunik shishpa. There's sometimes they don't even know how to take the hides off. The deer and the ko in me nakakas isikonatas. Our uncle, he was teaching us. You don't always need a knife to take off the hide. And the kuimin, the pupkinam, nam shaskaita. So he would say you would just need to use your hands. You would make your incisions, but you could just pull it off and same time, like, place your fist within the hide and between the hide and the body or whatever to, take it off. Pach imik dash, so that way it would be good for the hide to be worked on. And a kushki in mikasla. And also my grandmother she would Iwa and Khanash, she would tell me, Chnap Chawit samtachpanam patochnata yamashna. You shoot the deer, maybe close to the head. And the ko chawi iwat and the pityani apach, so the hide wouldn't have holes. So kind of get after us, like, how to shoot at the deer if we could. And of course her story she would always brag about her husband, her late husband. And of course it was funny how she would share that story. And she would say, and the kui Kwaimpen Chana Kusiki, you mentioned Chana in the Kwaimpen Chana Kusiki, he would cross and he would go hunting with his horse. Nupt ilapat sim, 2 bullets. Naku itochnaman Chana when he'd come home. Aku awacha nach shamash ko achwe nach ilapat. He'd come home with 1 deer and still have 1 bullet. That's how she would talk and tell her story. And so she would kind of like put us in our place, like, you guys just don't know, how to hunt like, our old man hunted. She just called him Khusat, old man. So this rolling along in the language in English about, in me, Tam the Nacht. And I remember my uncle also sharing stories. They would try different methods for either making rawhide, or my uncle was a drum maker, so he was trying to make hides. And he said, I heard you could put horse manure on the hide and let it soak, and it would take the hair off. And here it was, I guess the horse manure was so strong, and when he pulled his hide out, his hide was just wasn't a good idea. Yeah. Well, this is good stuff. I hope this is helpful. So I want to continue to leave it open for any questions, if it's, even if it's not necessarily on the subject of hide tanning, but just because of Bobby doing this, and wanted to just, share that a little bit. And so if anybody else, you have any questions on how, if any want to ask anything. Tun mashwa ashapnit.
How did they get to become white hides? You know, when you see white skins, white buckskin, how does it get white?
It's just never tanned.
Oh,
Yeah, it's just never tanned.
Oh,
It doesn't naturally tan itself, you know, like because when you make rawhide, or when you scrape a hide, usually it's kind of, you know, fairly plush, you know. So, but when you, like I said, when it's, because sometimes the hide will, even when it's rawhide and scraped and everything, sometimes it'll have white coloration, but depending, I guess, on the kind of hide, and I imagine it could even do with what time of the year the animal is harvested. But for this to be the different shades of tan, I know it just depends on what kind of wood is being used. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, anybody else?
Inashwa Shapnit.
Hey, Kamish.
So, for Cottonwood and LeGrand, you said cup and cuppa. I was wondering, have you ever heard something like chup?
Chup?
Or could that be something else?
I'm not sure if it does it state that in there in our dictionary for anything?
So that's what I saw in there for both of these.
Oh,
Cup and
cup. Maybe I'm saying that's first way, because I think I've heard it both ways. Cup and chup.
Yep, Nez Perce is kappa.
Yeah, okay. And then so for us it must be chup. Is that you, Kristen?
E.
Yeah.
Is that how you'd spell that, Kristen? Kappa.
QAPA.
Sweet.
Just like you have it.
Sweet.
I'm trying to see what I always, when I look at our dictionary, I'm always saying, oh, I'll see what Auntie has to say, because a lot of this documentation or dictionary was, you know, with our elder Atwai Inez Spino. Yeah. So again, if you guys don't have a dictionary, you know, be a good investment for whatever that you're, you know, learning, as well as the Yakima dictionary. I think we'll go ahead and go with this, and then again, email. If you don't have the email, we'll just go ahead and put it in the chat, and then Jonathan can email us stuff to you, this material. And I know anytime that I get any of these materials, since I have a printer in my place, I print the material off for myself, and it's good information. And then if there's any more that I see, or if anything else that you can think of that could be added, then, you know, we can work on that.
Yeah, I'll print everybody that's here off a copy.
Okay, E.
Well, Quetzal Shamatesh, I got to check out and go help clean up, get ready for lunch, but really appreciate you doing this.
Gumish. EO.
Yeah.
EO. Quetzal Shamatesh Tlauch. I appreciate all of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
E. I don't know if they know, but I gotta go.
I thought you said home.